Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's 7:20 time in Johannesburg in the morning. I hope I find well. How are you all over the world? Look, a lot has been happening all over the world, right? But I've got news for you, right? Very, very interesting news, right? One of them is that Juve, the old lady, as it is well known, they've fired their coach, Trudeau, right? You know why? You know, there is a lot that has been happening in different clubs all over the world, and one of them is that these old clubs or these iconic clubs in the world, right? They don't want to change, right? And or they feel like they're still up there on the top, and they don't want to. It's crazy. When you look at teams like your Juve, your AC Milan. I remember I grew up watching your Sampdorias, which have now disappeared. Your Manchester City. Um, how good was your Evertons of this world, and a lot of clubs. Even now your Nottingham Forest, your big clubs, they've gone under, but it's all about evolving, right? It's all about changing. It's all about managing the the changing of the world, the marketing, the buying of new players, the monies, and all those kind of things. But you see, Juventus, what they've done is that they've realized one thing, that it seems something is very wrong. They are not getting result. There are no result that is coming through. And remember, they had Thiago Motta recently. They fired him. Um, who else did they have as well? And it seems as if things are not proving for them, right? If you continuously change coaches, it means there is a problem with the top management, the owners, and all those kind of things. Because you know what? You can't just continuously change coaches. Something is wrong. Like, for instance, if you go through this, they're actually saying that he had actually about quite a lot of 8 winless matches, right? There's draws there is losses, and all those kind of things, right? And in fact, Trudeau replaced Thiago Motta, I think in January, between January or February, somewhere there, who they also fired. So it's crazy. It's actually a crazy situation at the old lady there. Let's see who will come and lead them. But obviously, a lot of things have changed. Inter is doing very well. Them there's Atlanta is doing very well. What is it? Quite a lot of teams are doing well. So the chances are that they might not be. Maybe the reason why they fired him now is to make sure that at least they will be in the top four or top three, so that they qualify for the Champions League or at least Europe. So let's see what happens. The second story that I wanted to bring to your attention is about Rogers, right? So Rogers has said goodbye to Celtic, right? And I think it was sudden, but it seems as if you read through the news about Brendan Rodgers, he said that I think the owners, they knew what was happening, because Rodgers said that he has resigned with immediate effect and he has left, and the owners has accepted his resignation, right? But listen to this, right? It seems as if this misunderstanding or whatever started last year, right? Sometime in December, because the owners have come up and put a statement to thank Rogers and whatever. However, they've put it very bluntly, very, very clear to the world, to say, look, we had a discussion with Brendan Rodgers last year, and we indicated our interest to extend his contract, right? And he will say that, look, I'll go back and think about it and then revert, right? He never came back. And from last year up to now, they've been having constant meeting, constant discussions about the club, about what they want to do with the club, where they want to go, and all those kind of things. There was no indication from Brendan Rodgers to say he was leaving, right? But you could see, I think they could see that, you know what, he is no longer the Brendan Rodgers they employed. Things has changed and all those kind of things. But the truth of the matter is that we also need to wait for Brendan Rodgers' side of story because he hasn't said anything yet. But the owners, they are very, I think, upset because he had performed there very well for the last 2 seasons and they wanted to extend his contract. And all of a sudden, he said he wants to leave. But this is my story, right? Brandon Rogers, he is at the level of your Davis Moyes, right? He's if he comes back to the Premiership, right? He's not that kind of a guy who will win the league, right? And he's not that kind of a guy who can take a team to the Champions League. He will finish like your seventh, eighth, and all those kind of things. Yes, for me, Brandon Joe Rogers is better than your Frank Lampard, your Rooney's of this world, and whatever he is still there. But in terms of bringing him to, let's say, to coach your Chelsea, to coach your Liverpool, your Arsenal, or even Everton or Tottenham or whatever, he's not at that level. So I don't know where he will be going, but it will be very, very interesting to see where he is going after Celtic because my thinking was that he does well with either in the championship or your Celtics, those other teams. Probably he will go to Portugal, probably, but obviously Spain will be right off. I don't think he can go to Spain. Germany, I don't think so. I don't know. The only chance that he can do is to come back to England. Let's wait and see. Now, there is this issue that is actually keep I'm just thinking about it and I saw something that came up this year. It's regarding Joao Pedro, right? So Joao Pedro came and light up the scene, right? Especially when he was in Club World Cup and all those kind of things. And all of a sudden, he has disappeared, right? And I want you to listen to what I'm saying before people start fighting me, right? Joao Pedro, for the last 11 games that he has played, has scored nothing, right? And the problem with it is that Joao Pedro, we've always said that he's not a number nine. That is the fact. Joao Pedro is not a number nine. Joao Pedro is not your Nicholas Jackson. And a lot of Chelsea fans have come back and start to say, look, we wish Nicolas Jackson was still here and all those kind of things. But everybody was bombarding Nicolas Jackson to leave and do this and that, right? But the bottom line now is that if you look at a lot of scores now, goals from Chelsea, goals that are coming in, right? They are coming in from everywhere, from midfielders, defenders, wingers, and all those kind of things. But our strikers, they are not scoring goals. In fact, our striker now, our main striker is not scoring goals. The reason being that he is not a number nine. If you look at all the big clubs, right, they've got their own, at least two number nines. They've got two number nines, and this is what they should have done. They should have just kept Nicholas Jackson and Delap as our two number nines, and then they would say Joao Pedro and Cole Palmer are our number tens. Or they'll also play both of them on the wingers because they can also do the same. So there was no reason for congesting the wingers and what they've done. Right now, they've brought in Gittins, they've brought in Garnacho who plays the same position. And it's a mess for me. It's a mess, and I don't know. It's crazy how they are going to deal with it. But I think if it was Maresca, for me, he made a lot of bobos there. He made a lot of mistakes. Joao Pedro is actually going to get frustrated because he's not scoring goals, right? And he's not even He's very slow in terms of going with the ball, being a number 10. He keeps the ball with him too much, and then the defenders comes and surround him. There's a problem there. But my understanding is that in a week or two, Bilap will be back. So let's just pray that he comes back next week. He started training with the first team, or he start playing probably 20, 30 minutes and see what happens. They don't need to bring him as quickly as possible because that injury might also reoccur and then you've got problems. Um, so let's see what happens. The last story that I wanted to talk about is actually crazy, crazy story, right? I saw this and I was like saying, where is our football going, right? Listen, in Saudi Arabia, they are building a stadium, right? 1,150, 1,150 feet, right? Or 350 meters above ground or something like that. And the stadium is like people will have to get there by lifts and this and that. It's going to be a crazy, crazy stadium. Yeah, I'll show you how it's look like, you know. But what I'm saying now there is that it's beautiful to watch, right? It's beautiful. But when you look at how crazy the, the football fans are, it's a very, very big risk. I don't know how FIFA has accepted that, or the Football Federation, or whatever it is, but I think it's a risk. People, they'll commit suicide there, which I hope they won't. And people, it's crazy. And I don't want to be frank. It's a beautiful, beautiful stadium the way it looked like, but I just hope that the measures will be put in place so that people are protected. And how do you get there, right? Because remember, there's going to be rival fans there, right? If people start to lose their minds, fighting and whatever, what then happens, right? So you need to make sure because stadiums they don't need to be like congested and right, so you need to make sure that everything is perfect, right? Everything is done properly. I hope the Saudi Arabians will make sure that that stadium is well secured for the goodness of the game, for the goodness of football, for the goodness of the supporters, for the goodness of even the players themselves. I don't know in terms of weather up there. How does it look like? How does it feel? Is it not going to be very cold? It's not going to be very hot? What happens, right? But let's wait and see. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you again later on in the afternoon or tomorrow morning if we get some more news coming through. But asante sana. Thank you so much. Enjoy.